Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is aijalonwallace. Please subscribe to the channel, like that button, hit that like button if you want to see more videos like this. So today we're going to be talking about, should I quit my job in the recruitment agency world? I feel like, I was looking on YouTube and I was like, man, no one's really ever talked about this topic that's really more specialized, to recruiters. So if you're watching this video, possibly you're thinking about leaving your company or you're just not happy there at the moment. So let's talk about it. I want to share my story. I worked in a recruitment agency for almost a good, 3 to 4 years. So I want to definitely talk to you about my experience as well. So look, I want to say my experience at both of my recruitment agencies were the best times of my life. I have nothing negative to say. I think we all have our ups and downs, but I love everyone at both companies I used to work for. I still talk to everyone at both companies I used to work for as well. So the first company I joined, one thing I guess if you are working in a recruitment agency at the moment, there is a high turnover. I mean, a lot of people get let go, and a lot of people usually, quit within their first couple weeks or first couple months because, it's very sink or swim. It's a sink or swim culture. Very similar to like a Wolf of Wall Street culture, to be honest, somewhat. Not all agencies are this way, but majority of them are. I think when I joined my company, it was just a lot of, it was going through a lot of changes. It was evolving, to be honest. And a lot of people are moving on, but also I guess one example that most of you possibly may be going through is possibly the structure of management. So I started off with a billing manager, and this manager, most in the recruitment agency world, most managers are usually like the top producers and the top sellers of the company. Love my manager, very like Wolf of Wall Street, go-getter. You cannot go to that person crying at all, because, they don't care. It's like, look, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to make it happen, but get to it. So this was like, my first manager, and it was good, because I was used to that type of culture, but it also can be bad as well when it comes to adaptability and communication amongst your clients or your style, or just helping you as far as your training goes as well. You kind of get a one-way mindset, and what happens is a lot of billing managers, because they're so money hungry, they don't tend to adapt to people's styles and really focus on their strengths. Sometimes sometimes as a manager, it may not be wise for everyone to start off as a 360 recruiter. Some people may be good just being sourcers, and some may be good just being, business development people as well. So some managers, you're gonna have managers who are top producers, but they don't have the strongest people skills or know how to manage people. And it's okay, it's nobody's fault, So I had that first manager, I had the hungry manager, and he was all about the hunger and, $1 million, biller, recruiter, and he taught me so much. I'm really grateful. I think a lot of my core habits, far as on the aggressive side, I strongly get from him, which has helped me stay steady as an entrepreneur and really, adapt in my field. Now, when this manager decided to move on, I received a non-billing manager, and she was all about emotional intelligence. And I think I struggled at first being managed by her because, she wasn't money driven. She was all about the way of the conversation, the flow of things, and just, adapting to the client. And it really took me to another level. She really helped me grow. It took me some while to get used to her management style, but I just liked it, you know what I mean? And then overall, it was kind of the way the company was designed, and maybe you guys are going through this as well, but everyone has their accounts already. And some people are not sharing their accounts. Some recruitment agencies may operate where one person, for example, let's just say they're working with ABC company and they're just doing all the sourcing for those jobs. They're not specialized or anything. That's just they got the whole account to themselves. And that was kind of my situation. Pretty much I was going into this organization and it wasn't a lot of, I had to eat and I had to survive my own. It was survival of the fittest. I had to find my own jobs. I had to be hungry, and I made some deals, but it's just the way the structure was. It just made my life a little hard, and it was taking a longer process for payouts. I'm sure you guys know. I mean, some recruitment agencies pay out their recruiters, monthly. Some do it quarterly as well. And for me, I love my company, but I just felt like, just the way the structure and the involvement and, just how it was evolving and everything was going through, it just wasn't getting to me where I needed to be. So I left and I joined a startup recruitment company where it was a higher commission structure, and I was just more free to just go out there on my own and do my own thing, and I became very successful. So I guess one of the reasons, if you're probably watching this video, just from some of the notes that I wrote down, it's probably one of the reasons why you're looking to leave your recruitment agency is because your KPIs are not realistic. And I hope that they are realistic with, the pandemic going on as well. So possibly you guys have some crazy KPIs. So, okay, if you're in a situation, you got these high KPIs, and you don't have a lot of accounts, that's completely understandable. Some companies have to be realistic when it comes to the KPIs, especially if they're giving you a cold desk. I wouldn't expect someone their first year on a cold desk to come in and make billing $500,000 or $1 million a year, unless they're like a Jordan Belfort type of person. You do get a few people like that, but you just have to be realistic in the expectations, for, when you're working with that company. So sometimes it's probably like KPIs. Another thing may be old methodologies, a very older way of recruitment, the old make 100 calls a day type of recruitment style. And that was that was like the culture I started off in, the make 100 phone calls, BD, pick up jobs. And, recruitment is a forever adapting field. It's really adapting with so many new software tools and so many technologies. And I remember when I shifted to my second recruitment agency, my manager, she had a completely different style of business development, which really helped me, learn how to be adaptable. She taught me a lot more things for sure when I went to go work under her, because the style that I was originally working under was just so old school. So possibly, if you guys are working in an old school environment, it's probably time to get up out of there, or maybe just talk to your manager about, switching things up, being advanced, using other technologies. I used to always go to a lot of like recruiter meetups and just mingle with other recruiters, and we would just share, what we're using in each other's office, what our commission structure are as well. Just to, hear what other agencies are doing. Even though we're competitors, we're still with friends, and, we still would help each other out as well. So that's, possibly that could be one of the reasons why you guys are looking to leave. I do understand if you got that old school recruitment, strategy and style right now. Definitely, it's probably time to get out of there. Possibly you guys don't fit in. I think, when I went to my recruitment agency, I just fit in, man. I think it was good. We joked around. We went to the bar. We hung out. You gotta think in recruitment, because you're gonna be seeing the people at your office every day more than your family and more than your friends. I mean, you're in an office sometimes 9 to 6, 9 to 7, and then right after you get off, just the culture. As soon as we finish working, we'll all go to the bar, and then we'll be with each other till like 10, 11, and 12 o'clock and just do it all over again. This is when I was like recruiting in Australia, but like the culture is like, you really gotta just make sure you feel like you're in the right spot with the right company. Before I jumped in recruitment, I interviewed with a lot of organizations, and some of the people that were interviewing me were just so serious. I mean, like, necktie was just so tight, and I was just like, nah, this not the person I want to work for. And then, the company I found, I met both the manager and CEO. They had their collars open, and they were just laid back and just so easy to talk to. They were throwing jokes in there. They were laughing at my jokes, and I was like, man, yeah, these are the guys I want to work with. And I have a big personality as well, so a lot of people can be intimidated by that. I'm a very loud person when I'm in the office as well, and I think it was just all about energy. I think they love my energy, I love their energy, and I definitely brought a lot of energy in the office as well, because it can get boring sometimes. So culture is so important, and you just got to really make sure, if you're feeling like you're not fitting in, you're feeling like, I know, of course, you have to do a job at the end of the day, but if you don't get along with everyone, it can hurt you. And, when you're working in a recruitment agency, it's good to be on be on the same level culturally and just the same energy. I mean, it's situations where one of my homegirls, I would tell her, I was working in data space, but I'll tell her like, yo, I got a Salesforce job with her specialization with Salesforce. Hey, we're going to shoot to the client meeting. Sometimes we would just look out for each other. I'll tell her like, look, you're going to shoot to this meeting with me. I'm going to have you pick up that job. And then she'll let me know like, hey, AJ, I just picked up 2 data jobs for my client. I need you to come look out for me. So we were like really helping each other in the office. It was just extremely important that we were just all on the same level, and we were all just helping each other grow. At the end of the day, I hope this is not a long video, but if it is, it's all right. I tend to talk a lot through my videos. All right, so I already talked about management. Management is just so important. I mean, really make sure you have questions for your manager, understand their style. You really can feel their energy as well. I knew that one of the reasons why, I liked my first manager, the one who was like a top biller, the Wolf of Wall Street type, but no EI. I loved him the most because he was not a micromanager. Leave me alone. I'm the type of recruiter, if I ever was to go back to an agency, I probably wouldn't, but if I ever did, do not be over my shoulder. Do not be holding my hand. Teach me, train me, and let me get to it. And if I'm failing, I'm gonna come to you, but do not micromanage me. And if you guys are being in a situation where you're being micromanaged, it depends on if you need it or if you don't need it. Some people I've seen and worked with definitely needs micromanaging. They need to be pushed, they need to be motivated, they need to have goals set for the day and throughout the week. But if that's not your style, definitely hurry up and move out of that situation, because it's only going to make your situation worse, and it's going to affect the energy, it's going to affect the culture. So it's just very important, that you understand. I would ask my manager, like if I was you, before you take the job, I would even ask the manager, what's your management style? I mean, how many meetings are we having a week? Because if you meet with a manager and they say, I'm going to be sitting down with you 4 or 5 times a week, and, monthly trainings and, just monthly meetings with you, find out. Find out. Because I'm telling you, man, it can really push you away. It can really push you away and can make your job even harder. So definitely make sure, ask yourself as well, are you the type that need to be micromanaged, or you like the autonomy, you like working, you just like being free as well. Another reason as well could be the office. A lot of recruitment agencies, believe it or not, still use cubicles. And it's like designed like the Matrix, and I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, this is so 1967. Like, what's going on? My boss, and I love her so much. I love her. My boss, when she started at my second job, when she started looking for offices, she knew that I hated traditional offices. So she started looking for open space offices. And I think a lot of recruitment agencies are going into that direction. I am seeing a lot of recruitment agencies work at, set up shop at co-working spaces or WeWork offices, or to set up their offices like co-working spaces as well. So you got your couch, you got your, you got desks, you got stand-up desks, you have pool table, because I'm telling you, you're really in the office all day when you live that agency life, and agency recruiters know what I'm talking about. If you're like thinking about getting in the agency world, you're hearing from me now, but agency recruiters know what I'm talking about. You're in the office all day, like I mean, you're making it happen. Possibly if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking about starting your own recruitment company, okay? If you're thinking about, probably you're at that stage, and this is where I was at. So my situation was, I was living in Australia. A lot of people always ask me why I started my own company. One, I just never kept a job. Let's just be honest. I never kept a job. And I think if you're the type of person who has never stayed in a job, honestly, truthfully, you're probably meant to work for yourself. There's nothing wrong with quitting. It's just a time in your life when you just have to admit to yourself that you're not meant to work for anybody. So I think that was becoming a realization for me. But there was just a lot of cons in my situation. So I was working in Australia. I was a top producer for my company. I love my company. I love my boss. I still love her and love everyone, at the organization. But what happened was the visa law started to shift. And I ultimately, when I was living in Australia, if you guys follow my Australian channel as well, I wasn't going to be able to stay in the country. And recruitment is all about building up your network and building up a desk. So you're building up a contractor book, a permanent book. And I was like, man, I only got 4 years here, and I'm just going to have to give it all away. I won't be able to stay. Another thing was, I just ultimately wanted freedom. I just wanted, I was just like, man, there was some micromanaging within my company, not from my direct boss, but it was some micromanaging going on as well. And I just also didn't believe in, and you got to understand as well, like if you work for a company, you're working 40 hours a week, they're paying you 40 hours a week. It's fair to say, of course, you got to abide by their rules in regards to, coming in the office and showing up and going to the meetings and stuff like that. But my perspective on recruitment just started to shift and change. I was more outcome focused. And I feel like a lot of recruitment companies are leading towards this direction. If you're billing $100,000, $300,000 a quarter and that's your goal, for me, I don't see what's the point of you working 40 hours a week if you're hitting your numbers and hitting your target. If your target is to do 60 or 90K a month, or and that's when you do the numbers, that could be 2, 3, 4 deals. If you're hitting your targets, I don't see why not still pay that recruiter their 40 hours a week if the outcomes are there. And that's just how my mind started to shift, especially when I started to work for myself. It was just like, it was more outcome focused, like I could do 1, 2 deals a week and just be set for life, and go live on a beach and sip on a pina colada, champagne recruitment, baby. So like my mind started to shift. And if you're at this stage right now where you're thinking about starting your own company, start saving. You want to save a good 6 to 12 months of rent. You don't need that much money to start, and start just preparing your mind and shifting and start working on everything, your website, your company, all those good things. But you're probably at a stage right now where you're thinking about starting your own company, and I just say prepare for it. And look, it doesn't always start off strong, but it comes. When I first started my company, I didn't make my first sale until like 3 months into my business, and then I just took off from there, and I start producing and making a lot more sales. So, look, it takes time, but if you're at a stage and you feel it, do it. But do it if you believe in yourself. Do it if you're hungry and you got the drive and the push, and understand your weaknesses, and ask yourself, how can I strengthen those weaknesses as well? Because I knew what my weaknesses were, so I took advantage of adapting, my company around my weaknesses to keep me steady and keep me afloat. And I haven't had to go back to work for anyone since I've quit working for a recruitment agency. If you are a person that's been doing it for so long, you're probably getting tired of sourcing. You're probably just not feeling challenged enough as well. And possibly you need to talk to your team about maybe a promotion, or probably switching up your job, you know, adding more things in there, you know, because some recruiters are just at the desk all day. But, you know, I was a different type of recruiter. I was going out, I was meeting with clients, I was at meetups, I was hosting meetups at some of my clients' buildings. I was just doing a lot. I was very active. I was flying to different offices within my company as well. My offices had a few locations. So some days I'll go work in Sydney. Some days I'll go work in Melbourne. You know, I was just really trying to switch it up. But if you're getting bored, there is a point where people get bored and they just get tired of doing it. And if you're at that stage, it's completely understandable, you know. And then I guess that kind of factors into maybe you're looking to go in-house. Now, you know, when you go in-house, I guess you will miss out on those big commission checks. But there are in-house companies that does, you know, still pay high salaries. You still can be in a six-figure range. And, you know, it's still a lot of other ways to make money. Maybe you don't want to have the pressure of the KPIs and just billing so much. You want to go the in-house route where it's more about, you know, it's definitely centered around emotional intelligence and admin. And you're still doing some sourcing, but it's not pressure around how much money you make. It's more about culturally and how you're helping the company grow, you know. And in-house is not a bad thing. I know a lot of recruiters look down upon it, you know, but it's not a bad thing. I've seen a lot of people go in-house and become very, very successful, more happy, their hair grew back, you know, so less stress, you know, better hours. Because I'm telling you, when you're working in this field, it can be really hard. You know, it can really be hard. Look, if you're at a stage right now, you're thinking about quitting your job, if anything, just try to talk to someone within your organization to see if they, you know, if it's something minor or if it's something you want to change. Try to have that conversation before you start looking. And just make sure when you start looking again, you really ask the right questions. I was very straightforward when I was interviewing for companies, when I was looking to move to my next job. What's your management style? What's the commission structure? What the offices look like? You know, I was just trying to make sure it was me, it was for me, and I was going to be comfortable working in that space. Hey guys, if you like this video, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment below, give me more topics that you want to talk about. Please let me know if you're thinking about quitting your agency or if you were in a similar situation as far as the things I talk about. Listen, I can't wait to upload more videos. Talk to you guys soon.